Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And as you can see, we're still in Essex, Connecticut, in my bed and breakfast hotel room. And I was sitting here this morning, and I took a shower, and I made some coffee. And I was sitting around, and, you know, I do my prayers, my daily meditations every morning to kind of get me started. I do a lot of affirmations and tell myself good things about myself. And, you know, I think that's important in building ourselves up. And one of the things that I also do is that I go in and I watch a lot of inspirational videos in the morning. And, you know, I watch a lot of Oprah's aha moments, and there's other people that I watch out there too. And maybe one day I'll make a video talking about all of my favorite inspirational YouTubers, because I think that would probably surprise people that I watch. I don't know, maybe it wouldn't, that I watch like 5 or 6 different inspirational people that kind of set the mood for my day, and I just go to their channel and I find a video that I've never watched of theirs. And, you know, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to start this channel, was because I would get up in the morning and I would, like, you know, as I was brushing my teeth or, you know, doing a face mask or whatever, I would listen to one of their videos or watch one of their videos. And really it set the tone for my day. You know, whether it was about forgiveness or removing resentment or just being positive every day. It really set the tone for my day. And so I thought, you know what, if this channel can do the same thing, if it can give somebody, you know, something to think about throughout the day. And one of the things I've loved is that I've had so many people that have come to me that have said, you know, like, I listen to your videos when I get up in the morning, or if I'm having, you know, a tough time at work or with the kids, I just throw it on and I think about things, you know, and then it kind of like sets my tone again and it realigns things for me. And I'm so happy that this channel has been able to do that for people, you know, that I am, you know, getting so much back in return because you guys are so nice that you let me know that. And it's awesome. You know, it's this reciprocal positive energy that I think goes back and forth. And I'm happy that people are able to, you know, find some solace in the things that I share on here. And so I was watching this video this morning, and it was one of Oprah's videos. And it was like a 3-minute clip about where she was interviewing Reese Witherspoon. And the video was titled something to the effect of the day that, the moment that Reese Witherspoon changed, or something like that. And then it said abusive relationships. And so I went and I watched this video, and I had never actually heard her talk about this story before. And Oprah asked her a question like, when was the moment, I'm paraphrasing, but she said, like, when is the moment that you, like, something changed profoundly in you? And she said, the moment that I decided to get out of an abusive relationship. And, you know, before I get into this, I just want to say, I know a lot of people that have been in abusive situations. I have worked with many people. I myself have histories of abuse as well. And I think that a lot of times we want to compare abuse, you know, that like sexual and physical abuse is worse than verbal and emotional abuse and things like that, but that's just not the case. The case is that each situation is completely different to each person and the effects that it has on their life. And I think the overwhelming response is that none of us want to continue to choose to live as victims for the rest of our lives. But subconsciously, a lot of times, you know, it messes with us because it plays out in different aspects of our life. And this is what Reese Witherspoon was talking about. She said that people that knew her then say to her today, you're a different person than you were when I knew you. And so Oprah goes, she is interviewing this other actress as well, and she comes back and she's talking to her. And she said, well, tell me more about, was it physical, emotional? And she goes in and she talks about how it was psychological abuse. And she said, you know, and Oprah says, well, when did you decide to leave? And she said, there was a line drawn in the sand and it was crossed. And it was like goosebump moment. I mean, we have all had those moments, I think, you know, when it's like, okay, I've drawn this line in the sand. I have backed my lineup. I mean, have you backed your lineup before? Oh my God. I cannot tell you how many times I have backed my lineup for people. You know what I mean? Where it's like, if you do this to me, if you do this to me, and you know what people are capable, right? I think most of us are fully aware of what people are capable of. And it's like, I know you. Okay, I've seen what you've done to other people. I know what you're aware of, or what you're capable of. So here's where the line is. If you cross this line, and then it's like you back up and you back up. And then what happens over time is that we feel less about ourselves, right? Because we've backed up that line. But one day comes and it's like, no more. I'm done with this. I can't do it anymore. And that's when we stand firmly where we're at and we say, I'm done. Well, what she said was that as a result of her doing that, you know, that she began to gain like self-esteem and confidence over time that she never would have had before. That she had this sense of independence about her, this sense of self-esteem, this strong self-esteem and confidence, this understanding of who she was as a person that she wouldn't have had she not gone through that situation. And I immediately, and Oprah doesn't even say it, and it's her own quote, but I immediately thought of the Oprah quote where she says, turning our wounds into wisdom, you know? And I think it's really, really important that we take a look at each situation that happens to us in our lives and that we choose not to remain victims in those situations, but we choose to learn. And I was thinking to myself, is it enough to just learn a lesson? And I think, no, it's not. You know, I think that we have to learn the lesson, practice the lesson, repeat the lesson, and then finally one day it's learned, you know? But we have to practice the action against the lesson over and over and over again, if that makes sense. So it isn't good enough for us just to stand up once. We have to continue to do that. We have to continue to build our confidence. You know, I use the analogy a lot on here on like, you know, weightlifting and building muscle. And it's like what you do is you break down the muscle and then you build it back up. Well, if somebody went into the gym one time, you know, and they had like worked out for 2 hours and they went home and they just the next day felt like a noodle, you know, like they wouldn't wake up and be like this super muscular person. You have to continue to go back. You have to continue to practice the exercises. You have to go back and continue to, you know, work the different muscle groups, right? So we have to take the lessons that we've learned and we continue to practice them until they are part of who we are. So when we have a situation where we stand up, you know, like she did in this situation, she said, okay, I drew a line in the sand and you crossed it, I'm done. That doesn't just stop there with that person. That means that we have to continue with each person that comes into our life to be the same way that we were before. And that's who I hope to be today. You know, I hope to be this person that in every situation that I've learned in, you know, whether it's removing toxicity from my life or removing negativity or saying I'm not going to allow somebody to speak this way to me behind my back or to my face, you know, whatever, or I'm not going to allow people to harm me in any way, or, you know, if I'm, whatever the situation is, whatever the learning experience is in our lives, you know, and I think that we have to take a look at that and go, okay, what are the greatest lessons that we've learned in our lives? Are we repeating them? You know, one of the things I talk about on here over and over and over again is the necessity to suit up and show up. And it's not just good enough for me to suit up and show up once. I have to do it on a regular basis so that it becomes part of who I am. And then once it's part of who I am, then I can move on to the next lesson. I can practice several lessons at once, of course, right? But it's important that each time that lesson is presented to me, that I practice it until it is part of who I am. I love you guys. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.